The galactic survey vessel Bright Dawn moved slowly through the empty space between stars. It was a large ship, painted white and blue, and it carried a crew of 47 aliens from 12 different species. Their mission was simple. They traveled to unknown parts of the galaxy, made maps, and recorded everything they found. Commander stood on the bridge and watched the stars through the large window. He was a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. His large black eyes reflected the light of distant suns. For 3 months they had found nothing interesting, just empty space, dead rocks, and clouds of gas. "Commander," said the navigation officer, a small furry being named Pix, "I am detecting something strange ahead." Turned his head. "What is it?" "A ship, sir. It is damaged and drifting. No power signature, but I am reading life signs inside." The bridge grew quiet. Finding a ship in deep space was rare. Finding one with survivors was almost impossible. Ships that lost power in the void usually became tombs for their crews. "Show me," ordered. The main screen changed to show the object. It was a ship, but unlike anything had seen before. It was small, maybe 30 meters long. The design was rough and simple, with thick metal plates covering the hull. Burn marks and holes covered one side. Something had attacked this vessel and nearly destroyed it. "Can you identify the origin?" asked. Pix worked at his console for a moment. His small paws moved quickly over the buttons. Then he stopped. His fur stood up on his back, a sign of fear among his people. "Sir," Pix said slowly, "the database has found a match, but there must be a mistake." "Tell me." "The design matches vessels from a planet called Earth. It is listed as a Class 15. Silence fell over the bridge again. Every crew member knew what it was. The Galactic Council rated planets by how dangerous they were. Class 1 was peaceful and safe. Class 5 had some dangers. Class 10 was deadly to most life forms. No one talked about Class 15. Planets with that rating were considered impossible to live on. They had crushing gravity, poison air, extreme temperatures, dangerous radiation, and predators that could kill in seconds. The Council had only found 3 Class 15 worlds in the entire galaxy. All of them were empty of intelligent life. Or so everyone believed. "That cannot be correct," said Dr. Myra, the ship's medical officer. She was a species that looked like a tall bird with blue feathers. Nothing intelligent could evolve on a Class 15 world. The conditions would kill any developing species. "The database is certain," Pix replied. "The ship design, the materials used, even the radio signals it is sending, they all match records from Earth." Felt something cold move through his body. He had served in space for 40 years. He had seen many strange things, but this was different. This felt wrong. "How many life signs?" he asked. "2, sir, both weak but stable." Made his decision. He could not leave survivors to die in space, no matter where they came from. "Bring the ship into our cargo bay, tell the medical team to prepare, and Pix, send a message to the Council. Tell them what we found." The crew worked quickly but carefully. The damaged ship was pulled into the Bright Dawn using tractor beams. Once inside, the cargo bay doors closed, and air filled the space. Walked down to meet whatever they had found. The cargo bay was large enough to hold several small ships. The Earth vessel sat in the middle, looking even more damaged up close. The metal was thick and heavy, much denser than any ship had seen before. Whoever built this vessel expected to face serious threats. Dr. Myra and her medical team waited near the ship's airlock. They wore protective suits, not knowing what diseases or dangers might come from inside. Joined them and watched as the airlock slowly opened. Steam hissed out first. Then came the smell. It was strange, organic, and completely unknown. The air from inside the Earthship mixed with theirs. 2 figures appeared in the doorway. Felt his hearts beat faster. They were bipedal, standing on 2 legs like many species did. They had 2 arms, 1 head, and soft skin with no scales, feathers, or fur. Their bodies were compact and muscular. One was slightly smaller than the other, with long black hair. The other was taller, with short black hair and a wound on his arm that leaked red fluid. They looked around the cargo bay with wide eyes. Their eyes were small compared to most species, but they moved constantly, taking in everything. When they saw the aliens, they did not run or scream. They simply watched and waited. The smaller one spoke first. The sounds were strange, but the translation device in his ear worked quickly. "Hello, my name is, our ship was attacked by pirates. We have been drifting for 6 days. Thank you for saving us." Her voice was calm. She showed no fear, even though she was surrounded by creatures she had never seen before. Found this disturbing. Most species meeting aliens for the first time showed some reaction. Fear, excitement, confusion. But these two were completely composed. "I am commander of the Galactic survey vessel Bright Dawn," he replied. "You are safe now. Our medical team will treat your injuries." The male looked at the wound on his arm. "This is nothing, just a scratch. I can treat it myself." Dr. Myra stepped forward. "Please let me examine you both. I need to make sure you are healthy." The 2 humans, as the database called them, exchanged a look. They seemed to communicate without words, then nodded. "Of course, we are grateful for your help." They followed Dr. Myra to the medical bay, walked behind them, watching carefully. These creatures moved differently from other species. Their steps were heavy, making loud sounds on the metal floor. Their bodies seemed dense and solid, like they were built from stronger materials than normal flesh. In the medical bay, Dr. Myra began her scans, watched from the doorway as data appeared on the screens. What he saw made his blood run cold. "Commander," Dr. Myra said, her voice shaking slightly, "you need to see this." Approached the screen. The information made no sense at first. Then he understood, and he wished he did not. The humans had bones made of minerals so dense they were almost like metal. Their muscles were thick and powerful, designed for heavy work. Their hearts pumped blood at high pressure. Their immune systems were incredibly aggressive, filled with cells that attacked and destroyed any foreign material. "Their bodies are designed for war," Dr. Myra whispered. "Everything about them is built to survive extreme conditions. The gravity on their world must be immense. And look at this." She pointed to another screen. "Their skin is resistant to radiation. Their eyes can adjust to different light levels instantly. They can regulate their own body temperature." Looked at the 2 humans. They sat quietly on the medical beds, watching the aliens work. They did not seem threatening. The female even smiled at one of the medical assistants. It was a strange expression, showing her teeth, but it seemed friendly. "How is this possible?" asked. "How can anything survive on a Class 15 world long enough to evolve intelligence?" "I do not know, Commander, but these readings do not lie. These beings are from and somehow they did not just survive there. They thrived." Spoke suddenly, making everyone jump. "Your doctor seems worried. Is something wrong with us?" Tried to think of what to say. He could not tell them that their very existence terrified his crew. He could not explain that the galaxy considered their home world to be hell itself. "No," he said finally. "You are both healthy. We are just surprised by some of your biological features. We have not encountered your species before." Tilted her head. It was a curious gesture. "We have not encountered any of your species either. We did not know there was other intelligent life in the universe until the pirates attacked us. We were just exploring, trying to see what was out there." "You left your planet without knowing if other life existed." "Yes, we were curious." Stared at her, curious. They had built ships, traveled into the unknown void of space, all because they were curious. His people had only developed space travel after meeting other species first. The idea of going alone into the darkness, not knowing what waited there, seemed insane. "You are very brave," he said. Shrugged, it was another strange gesture. We just wanted to see what was out there. Earth is wonderful, but it is only one world. The universe is so big, we could not stay home forever. Nodded in agreement. The pirates were a surprise. We did not expect our first contact with aliens to be violent, but we survived. We always survive. Those words echoed in his mind long after he left the medical bay. We always survive. It sounded like a simple statement, but coming from beings who had evolved on a Class 15 world, it carried a different weight. He returned to the bridge and found his crew waiting nervously. They had all seen the data from the medical scans. They all knew what they were dealing with now. "What do we do, Commander?" Pix asked quietly. Sat in his chair and thought carefully. These humans had done nothing wrong. They were survivors of an attack, stranded in space. By galactic law, they deserved help and protection. But they were also something the galaxy had never seen before. Living beings from a world that should have killed everything on it. Their bodies were weapons forged by the environment imaginable. What would happen when word spread that such creatures existed? "We treat them as guests," said finally. "They saved themselves long enough for us to find them. They deserve respect, not fear." He paused. "But keep me informed of everything they do, everything they say. I want to understand what we are dealing with." The crew nodded and returned to their work, but could see the fear in their eyes. The bright dawn had gone looking for discoveries. They had found something that would change the galaxy forever. In the medical bay, and rested on their beds. They spoke quietly to each other in their own language, sounds that the translation devices could not fully capture. "They are scared of us," said. "Yes," agreed, "but they are kind, they saved us." "What do we do now?" Looked up at the ceiling of the alien ship. Somewhere out there, Earth waited for them. Their families, their friends, their home. But first, they had to navigate this new situation. First contact with aliens. First time representing their entire species. "We show them who we are," she said. "We show them that humans can be trusted. We show them that surviving does not make us monsters." Nodded and closed his eyes to rest. His wound had already stopped bleeding. By tomorrow, it would begin to heal. On Earth, such fast healing was normal. Here, among these fragile aliens, it would be seen as another miracle. Or another reason to be afraid. The bright dawn continued its journey through the stars, carrying 2 passengers who should not exist. In the days ahead, the crew would learn more about humanity. They would see things that amazed them and things that terrified them. But for now, there was only silence, stars, and the beginning of something no one could predict. 3 days passed on the bright dawn. The human guests had been given a small room to share, and they spent most of their time there, resting and recovering from their ordeal. But they could not stay hidden forever. The ship was large, but the crew was curious. Everyone wanted to see the beings from the... Woke on the 3rd morning to the sound of the door chime. She stretched her arms and yawned, a gesture that would have seemed normal on Earth but looked strange to any alien watching. Was already awake, doing exercises on the floor. He moved his body through a series of positions, building strength and flexibility. "Come in," called out. The door slid open, and Dr. Myra entered. The tall bird-like alien carried a small device in her feathered hands. Her blue plumage was bright under the room's lights. "Good morning," Dr. Myra said. "I hope I am not disturbing you. I wanted to check on your healing progress." Stood up and showed his arm. The wound that had been deep and bleeding 3 days ago was now almost completely closed. Pink new skin covered the injury, smooth and healthy. Dr. Myra stared at it for a long moment. Then she scanned it with her device. The readings confirmed what her eyes already told her. "This is remarkable," she said softly. "Among my people, a wound like this would take 20 days to heal, even with medical treatment. How is this possible?" Shrugged. "We heal fast. All humans do. Our bodies are good at repairing damage." But this fast, without any medicine, we can heal even faster if we rest and eat well, has been doing both. The food you gave us was good. Dr. Myra did not know what to say. The food she had provided was standard nutrition paste, the kind given to passengers and refugees. It had no special healing properties. Yet somehow, the human body had used it to perform what seemed like magic. "I would like to learn more about your species," Dr. Myra said carefully. "Would you be willing to answer some questions?" Looked at, they exchanged that wordless communication again, then both nodded. "Of course," said, "we want you to understand us. Ask whatever you like." Dr. Myra activated a recording device. She had prepared a list of questions, but as she spoke with the humans, that list grew longer and longer. Every answer led to more questions. Every fact led to more confusion. She learned that humans needed to breathe a gas called oxygen, mixed with other gases, at a specific pressure. The atmosphere on their ship was similar to what the bright dawn provided, which was lucky. But on Earth, the air also contained trace amounts of gases that would be poisonous to most species. She learned that humans needed to drink water every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Their bodies were mostly water, constantly losing it through sweat and breath. On hot days, they could lose liters of water in hours. "What happens if you do not drink water?" Dr. Myra asked. "We get weak," explained. "Headaches, confusion, eventually organ failure, but we can survive for about 3 days without water if we have to. Some humans have survived longer." 3 days without water, most species would die within hours. Nodded as if this was normal information. Dr. Myra then asked about their food. She learned that humans could eat almost anything organic, meat from animals, plants of many kinds, even fungi and bacteria. Their digestive systems were incredibly adaptable. "We can eat things that are poisonous to other humans too," added. "In small amounts. Our bodies learn to handle toxins if we are exposed to them slowly. Some humans even build immunity to snake venom." Snake venom? What is a snake? Described snakes, long creatures with no legs that killed their prey with poison or by squeezing them to death. Dr. Myra felt her feathers flatten against her body in distress. "And these creatures live on your planet?" "Yes, many different kinds. Some are small and harmless. Some can kill a human in hours, but they usually leave us alone if we do not bother them." Dr. Myra made more notes. She asked about other predators on Earth and received answers that made her hearts race with fear. There were large cats that could run faster than any ground vehicle on her planet. There were bears, massive creatures that could crush bones with their paws. There were sharks in the water, wolves in the forests, crocodiles in the rivers. Every environment on Earth seemed to have something designed to kill. "How do humans survive among such creatures?" Dr. Myra asked. Thought about this question carefully. "We are smart. We make tools and weapons. We work together in groups. And we are persistent. When something threatens us, we do not stop until the threat is gone. Humans have hunted most of the large predators on Earth to very small numbers. Some species went extinct because of us." "You hunted the predators?" "Yes, they killed our families. They ate our children. So we killed them back. Not all of them, but enough that they learned to fear us." Dr. Myra set down her recording device. Her wings trembled slightly. She had studied many species in her career. She had met warriors and hunters from across the galaxy, but she had never heard anything like this. On most worlds, intelligent species evolved in safe environments. They developed in places where the climate was mild and predators were few. They had time and peace to grow their minds without constantly fighting for survival. Humans had evolved in hell. Every day was a battle. Every generation had to prove itself worthy of existence. And somehow, they had not only survived but conquered their world. "I need to speak with Commander," Dr. Myra said. "Thank you for your honesty. I will return later." She left the room quickly, her long legs carrying her to the bridge. Was there, watching the stars as he always did. "Commander, we need to talk about our guests." Turned to face her. He could see the fear in her eyes, the way her feathers pressed tight against her skin. "What have you learned?" Dr. Myra shared everything. She described the fast healing, the adaptable diet, the resistance to poison. She explained about the predators of Earth and how humans had fought back against them. She talked about their endurance, their persistence, their refusal to die. "There is more," she said. "I did scans of their cardiovascular system. Their hearts pump blood at pressures that would burst the vessels of most species. Their blood carries iron, a metal, which allows it to transport oxygen more efficiently. And their brains consume enormous amounts of energy. 20% of their total energy use goes to their brains alone." "What does that mean?" "It means they think constantly. Their minds never stop working. They are always planning, always calculating, always watching. Even when they sleep, their brains remain highly active." Felt the weight of this information settle on him. He had commanded ships for decades. He had met species from across the galaxy, but nothing had prepared him for this. "Are they dangerous to us?" he asked. Dr. Myra hesitated. "I do not think they mean us harm. They have been polite and cooperative. But Commander, if they wanted to hurt us, I do not think we could stop them. Their physical strength is far beyond ours. Their reaction speed is faster, and they can take damage that would kill us and keep fighting." "Have you told the crew?" "Not yet. I wanted to speak with you first." Nodded slowly. "Good. Keep this information private for now. We do not want to cause panic." But word spread anyway. On a ship as small as the Bright Dawn, secrets were hard to keep. Soon, every crew member knew that the humans were something special, something terrifying. The humans noticed the change. Crew members who had been curious now avoided them in the hallways. Eyes that had been welcoming now looked away quickly. The atmosphere on the ship grew tense and uncomfortable. Decided to address this directly. She asked Commander for permission to speak with the crew, and he agreed, though he seemed nervous about it. The meeting was held in the ship's common room. Most of the crew attended, sitting or standing along the walls, and stood at the front, facing dozens of alien faces. "We know you are afraid of us," began. Her voice was calm and clear. "We understand why. You learned about our planet and what we can do. It surprised you, it scared you." She paused and looked around the room. No one spoke. "But we want you to understand something. Yes, Earth is dangerous. Yes, we evolved in difficult conditions. But that does not make us monsters. We are just people. We have families and friends. We love and laugh and cry. We want the same things you want. Peace, safety, a good life." Stepped forward. "On Earth there is a saying, what does not kill you makes you stronger. We are strong because we had to be. But strength is not the same as cruelty. We do not want to hurt anyone. We just want to go home." A small creature near the back raised its hand. It was Pix, the navigation officer. "May I ask a question?" "Of course," said. "Your planet sounds terrible. Predators everywhere, poison in the air, crushing gravity. Why do you love it? Why do you want to go back?" Smiled. It was a genuine smile, warm and soft. "Because it is home. Because the sunsets are beautiful. Because when spring comes, flowers cover the fields in every color you can imagine. Because the sound of rain on a roof at night is the most peaceful thing in the world." She touched her chest, where her heart beat steadily. "Earth is dangerous, yes, but it is also wonderful. Every dangerous thing there is balanced by something beautiful." Nodded. "And we are not the only life there. Millions of species share our world. Birds that sing, fish that glow in deep water, trees that live for thousands of years. Earth is not just it is a world full of life, fighting and growing and surviving together." The room was quiet. The aliens looked at each other, processing what they had heard. For many of them, the idea of it had always been abstract, a number in a database, A warning label. Now, for the first time, they saw it as something real, a place with beauty and wonder alongside the danger. Commander spoke up. "Thank you for sharing this with us. I think many of us needed to hear it." Bowed her head slightly. "Thank you for listening, and thank you again for saving us. We will never forget your kindness." After the meeting, the atmosphere on the ship slowly changed. Crew members still kept their distance, but the fear in their eyes began to fade. Some even approached the humans to ask more questions about Earth. They wanted to know about the oceans and mountains, the cities and farms, the art and music, and answered every question patiently. They described human civilization, its history and achievements. They talked about the wars and conflicts, but also about the progress and growth. They painted a picture of a species that had fought its way up from nothing and was now reaching for the stars. Dr. Myra became particularly interested in human medicine. She learned about surgery and antibiotics, vaccines and prosthetics. Humans had developed incredible ways to fight disease and repair injury, driven by necessity. "You replace damaged organs with organs from other humans?" she asked, shocked. "Yes, transplants are common, and we are working on growing new organs in laboratories. Soon we will not need donors at all." "What about limbs? If a human loses an arm or leg?" Held up his hand and wiggled his fingers. "We make artificial ones, prosthetics. Some of them are almost as good as the original. Scientists are working on making them even better." Dr. Myra shook her head in amazement. "Your species has only had space travel for how long?" "A few decades. We are still learning." "And you have already accomplished all this?" Smiled again. "We learn fast when we need to, and we always need to. The universe is full of challenges. We want to be ready for them." That night, Commander sat alone in his quarters, thinking about everything he had learned. The humans were not what he expected. They were not mindless brutes or violent monsters. They were thoughtful, kind, and deeply connected to their world. But they were also survivors of hell. They carried the scars of their evolution in every cell of their bodies. And somewhere out there, billions more of them lived on a planet that should have killed them all. The galaxy was about to change, was sure of it. These humans were just the beginning. Soon, their kind would spread across the stars, bringing their strength and their curiosity with them. He did not know if that future would be good or bad, but he knew it was coming, and nothing could stop it. 1 week after the rescue, the bright dawn received a message from the Galactic Council. Commander read it alone in his quarters, and his face grew pale as he absorbed its contents. The Council had received his report about the human survivors. They were alarmed. Representatives from dozens of species had held emergency meetings to discuss what to do. Some wanted the humans detained and studied. Others wanted them destroyed before they could return to Earth and share information about the galaxy. A few suggested making peaceful contact with humanity, but they were in the minority. The message ended with a command. Was to bring the humans to Station Prime, the Council's headquarters, immediately. There, they would decide the fate of the survivors and their entire species. Sat in silence for a long time. Then he called into his office. The two humans entered and sat across from him. They seemed relaxed, unaware of what was coming. Had her hair tied back and wore a new shirt that the crew had made for him. They had become almost normal members of the ship in the past week. "I have received orders from the Galactic Council," began. "They want to meet you." Nodded. "We expected that. When do we leave?" "We are already on our way. We should arrive at Station Prime in 4 days." Leaned forward. "What will happen when we get there?" Hesitated. He did not want to lie to them, but he also did not want to frighten them. "I do not know for certain. The Council is concerned about your species. They have never encountered beings from a Class 15 world before. Some of them are scared." "Scared of us?" asked. "Yes, your abilities, your endurance, your history. It all frightens them. They do not understand how creatures like you could exist." His expression changed. The gentle warmth in her eyes became something harder, more guarded. And what do they want to do about their fear? Did not answer, he did not need to, understood. They want to make sure we cannot threaten them, she said. They want to control us, or eliminate us. Some of them do, admitted, but not all. There are voices calling for peace and cooperation. The council is not united on this. Stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at the stars, his back to the room. We knew this might happen. First contact is always difficult. Fear is natural. What will you do? Asked. Stood as well. We will meet with your council. We will answer their questions honestly. We will show them that humanity is not a threat. She paused. But we will not be prisoners. We will not let them treat us like animals. There was steel in her voice. Heard it and understood what it meant. These humans would not accept imprisonment or execution quietly. If pushed, they would fight. And based on everything he knew about them, that fight would not end well for anyone. I will do what I can to help you, said. You saved yourselves long enough for us to find you. You have been good guests on my ship. I believe you deserve a chance. His expression softened slightly. Thank you, Commander. Your kindness has meant more than you know. Over the next 4 days, the atmosphere on the Bright Dawn grew tense again. The crew knew where they were going and what might happen. Many of them had grown fond of the human guests. They did not want to see them harmed. Dr. Myra spent extra time with the humans, learning everything she could about their species. She told herself it was for scientific purposes, but really she wanted to preserve their knowledge in case the worst happened. She recorded their stories, their songs, their memories of Earth. She documented everything. Tell me about your families, she asked one evening. His eyes grew distant. I have a mother and father in a city called. They are older now, but still healthy. My father is a fisherman. He goes out on the sea every day, just like his father did before him. And you, what did you do before you came to space? I was an engineer. I helped build ships. When the space program asked for volunteers for the first deep exploration mission, I signed up immediately. It was my dream to see the stars. Were you not afraid? Shook her head. I was excited. The unknown does not frighten me, it attracts me. I wanted to know what was out there, I still do. Shared his own story. He had been a soldier before joining the space program. He had fought in small conflicts on Earth, protecting his country and his people. When peace came, he needed a new purpose. Space gave him that. I am trained for danger, he explained. Ships seemed safer than battlefields. I was wrong about that, but I do not regret it. Meeting you, seeing all of this, it was worth the risk. Dr. Myra found herself moved by their stories. These were not monsters or machines. They were people with hopes and fears, loves and losses. They missed their families. They dreamed of returning home. They were far from everything they knew, surrounded by creatures who feared them. Yet they remained calm. They remained kind. On the 3rd day of travel, an incident occurred that changed everything. The ship's main power core developed a fault. It was a serious problem that required immediate repair, or the Bright Dawn would be stranded in space. The engineering team worked frantically, but the fault was in a section of the core that was extremely hot and filled with radiation. No one on the ship could survive in those conditions for more than a few minutes. The repair would take at least 30 minutes. It seemed impossible. Then stepped forward, let me do it. Chief Engineer Rolex, a large creature with orange scales, shook his head. You cannot. The radiation alone would kill you. How much radiation are we talking about? Rolex checked his readings. Approximately 800 rads per hour. Even with protection, that is fatal within minutes. Nodded calmly. I can handle it. Humans can survive higher doses than most species. Our cells repair radiation damage quickly. Just tell me what to do. The engineering team stared at him in disbelief. 800 rads per hour was a death sentence for any known species. but seemed unconcerned. Commander arrived, having heard about the situation. "You cannot do this. It is too dangerous." "Commander, if the core fails, everyone on this ship dies. I am the only one who can make the repair. Let me help." Step beside him. He knows what he is doing, trust him. Looked into his eyes. He saw no fear there, no hesitation, only determination and a willingness to sacrifice himself for others. "Very well," said, "tell him what to do." Rolex explained the repair quickly. It involved replacing a damaged component and reconnecting several power lines. Simple work for an engineer, but impossible in those conditions for anyone except, apparently, a human. Put on a basic radiation suit, though everyone knew it would not provide much protection. He entered the core chamber alone. The crew watched on monitors as worked. The temperature was extreme. The radiation counter climbed higher and higher. Sweat poured down his face and his skin grew red from the heat. But he did not stop. He did not slow down. His hands moved steadily, removing the damaged component and installing the new one. He connected the power lines one by one, checking each connection carefully. 32 minutes later, he emerged from the chamber. He was exhausted, burned, and glowing faintly from radiation exposure. Dr. Myra rushed to him with medical equipment. "You are insane," she said, scanning him frantically. "Your radiation levels are off the charts. You should be dying." Smiled weakly. "I will be fine, just need some rest and food. My body will handle the rest." He collapsed into a chair and Dr. Myra began treatment. But even she knew that her medicines were not what would save him. His own biology would do that. His cells were already fighting the radiation, repairing the damage, cleaning the poison from his blood. The crew watched in amazement. This was not medicine or technology. This was evolution. Millions of years of surviving on a world that tried to kill every living thing had created bodies that could endure the impossible. Sat beside and held his hand. "You scared everyone." "I know, but I could not let them die, not when I could help." That night, stories of action spread through the ship. Crew members who had been cautious around the humans now looked at them with something new: respect, admiration, gratitude. Pix, the small navigation officer, approached after the ship systems were fully restored. "He saved all of our lives. Why would he do that for people who feared him?" Considered the question. "Because that is what humans do. We help each other. We protect each other. It does not matter if you are human or alien. If you need help and we can give it, we will. Even if it costs your own life. Sometimes, we value sacrifice for others. It is one of our highest virtues." Pix's ears flattened in confusion. "I do not understand. On my world, self-preservation is the highest value. Sacrificing yourself for strangers is considered foolish." "Maybe it is foolish," admitted, "but it is also beautiful. When someone gives their life to save others, they become more than themselves. They become a symbol of what we can be at our best." Pix thought about this for a long time. He had lived his whole life believing that survival was the most important thing. But now, seeing what had done, he wondered if there was something more. On the final day before reaching Station Prime, Commander called a meeting of his senior officers. They needed to prepare for what was coming. "The Council will question the humans," explained. "They will test them and study them. Some Council members want them imprisoned or worse. We need to decide what role we will play." "What do you mean?" asked Rolex. "I mean, do we support the humans or do we stay neutral? Do we tell the Council what we have seen, or do we keep quiet?" Dr. Myra spoke first. "I will tell them everything. The healing, the radiation resistance, the strength and speed. But I will also tell them about the kindness and courage. Saved this ship. He risked his life for all of us. That matters." Rolex nodded his massive head. "I agree. I was scared of them at first, but now I see them differently. They are dangerous, yes, but they are also good. The council needs to know both things. One by one, the other officers agreed. They would speak honestly about the humans, sharing both the frightening facts and the hopeful ones. They would advocate for peace instead of conflict. Felt something warm grow in his chest. He was proud of his crew. They had faced something unknown and terrifying, and they had responded with courage and compassion. "Then we are agreed," he said. "When we reach Station Prime, we stand with our guests. We give them the best chance we can." In their quarters, and did not know about the meeting. They sat together in comfortable silence, preparing themselves for what was to come. "Are you scared?" asked. "Thought about it. A little, but I am also hopeful. We have seen the good in these people. They are not so different from us. And if the council decides against us?" Met his eyes. "Then we do what humans have always done. We survive, we adapt, we find a way." Nodded. That was enough. That had always been enough. The bright dawn continued its journey towards Station Prime, carrying 2 passengers who represented a species the galaxy had never imagined. In the days ahead, they would face questions and challenges unlike anything they had prepared for. But they would not face them alone. The crew of the Bright Dawn had chosen their side, and somehow that made all the difference. Station Prime was only 6 hours away when the alarms began screaming. Commander rushed to the bridge, his 4 arms pushing crew members aside as he ran. The main screen showed what he feared most: ships, 3 of them, pirate vessels emerging from behind an asteroid field, moving fast to intercept. "How did they find us?" demanded. Pix worked at his console with frantic speed. "They must have been tracking our signal. These are the same markings as the ships that attacked the human vessel. They came back to finish the job." Felt his blood run cold. The pirates had not been satisfied with nearly destroying 1 ship. They wanted to make sure there were no survivors, no witnesses. The Bright Dawn was not a warship. It had basic shields and a few defensive weapons, but nothing that could stand against 3 armed pirate vessels. In a straight fight, they would be destroyed within minutes. "All crew prepare for emergency protocols," announced through the ship's speakers. "This is not a drill. We are under attack." Throughout the ship, crew members moved to their stations. Some ran to the escape pods. Others prepared to fight, though they knew it was hopeless. In their quarters and heard the alarms. They looked at each other and the same thought passed between them. This was what they were made for. This was where they could help. They ran to the bridge, arriving just as the first shots from the pirate ship struck the Bright Dawn's shields. The ship shook violently, throwing smaller crew members to the floor. Commander said, stepping forward, "Let us help." Turned to face her, his face showed desperation. "What can you do? These are armed warships. We cannot fight them." "Give us weapons," said. "Real weapons if you have them, and get us close to one of those ships." "Close, why?" "Because we are going to board it." The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at as if he had lost his mind. "Board a pirate ship," repeated. "That is suicide. They have dozens of armed crew members on each vessel." Shook her head. "Not suicide. This is what we do. This is what humans have always done. When we cannot win through force, we use surprise. We hit them where they do not expect. We turn their strength into weakness." Another blast rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed everywhere. The shields were failing. Made his decision in an instant. "Rolex, do we have any weapons in storage? Anything the humans can use?" The chief engineer checked his records. "We have emergency stun guns, low power meant for wildlife encounters, and some tools that could be used as weapons, nothing designed for combat." "Bring them," said. "We will make them work." Minutes later, and stood in the airlock chamber, armed with makeshift weapons. They had stun guns modified to deliver higher power, metal rods from the engineering bay, and determination that burned in their eyes. Watched them through the chamber window. The pirates will not expect boarding. I will fly close to the lead ship and match its speed. You will have about 30 seconds to cross the gap before they realize what is happening." 30 seconds is enough, said. "When you are aboard, what will you do?" Checked his weapons one last time. Find their command center, disable their weapons, force them to surrender or destroy them trying. And if there are too many enemies? Smiled, it was not a warm smile, it was the smile of a predator. There are never too many. The bright dawn accelerated toward the lead pirate ship. The pirates, confused by this unexpected maneuver, hesitated for a moment. That moment was all needed. The airlock opened and launched themselves into the void of space, crossing the gap between ships in less than 20 seconds. They landed on the pirate vessel's hull with magnetic boots, then moved to an access hatch. Pulled a tool from his belt and forced the hatch open. Air rushed out, but they were already inside. The hatch closed behind them, and they stood in a dark corridor of the enemy ship. "Gravity is lighter here," noted. "We will be faster and stronger than them." "Good. Which way to the command center?" They did not have maps or blueprints. They relied on instinct and experience, had trained for urban combat on Earth. He knew how to clear buildings and find objectives, had studied engineering. She understood how ships were designed. Together, they moved through the corridors like shadows. The first pirates they encountered were two guards near a junction. The aliens were tall and insect-like, with multiple limbs and hard shells. They carried energy weapons and wore light armor. They never saw the humans coming. Moved first, crossing the distance in a blur. His metal rod struck the first guard's weapon, knocking it away. Then he grabbed the creature's arm and twisted. The shell cracked. The guard screamed and fell. Hit the second guard with a stun blast. The weapon was designed for small animals, but at this range it was enough. The pirate collapsed, twitching. "Move," said. They continued deeper into the ship. More pirates appeared, responding to the alarm their presence had triggered. But each encounter ended the same way. The humans were faster, stronger, and more brutal than anything the pirates had ever faced. One group of 5 pirates attempted to set up a defensive position in a corridor. They had energy shields and heavy weapons. Against any normal boarding party, they would have been impossible to pass. And did not slow down. Charged directly at the shields while flanked from a side passage. The pirates focused on, firing at him as he approached. Some shots hit him. His body absorbed the impacts, the dense muscle and bone preventing fatal damage. It hurt, but pain was something humans understood. Pain was something they could endure. He crashed through the shield line, scattering the defenders. His metal rod became a blur, striking heads and limbs with devastating force. The pirate's armor, designed for energy weapons, offered no protection against blunt force. Arrived from the side, her stun gun crackling. She disabled 2 more pirates before they could react. In seconds, the defensive position was destroyed. "That was their best effort," said, examining the fallen enemies. "Then the rest will be easier." They reached the command center after 8 minutes of fighting. The door was sealed and reinforced. Armed guards waited on the other side, ready to defend their captain to the death. Did not bother with subtlety. He found a maintenance panel beside the door and ripped it open. Inside were the power conduits that fed the door's locks and the lights in the room beyond. "Cut the power," suggested. "No, I have a better idea." Pulled out 2 wires and crossed them. Sparks flew, and then a surge of electricity flowed into the command center. Inside, the lights exploded. The guards' weapons overloaded. The entire room went dark. Forced the door open with her bare hands, the metal groaning under her strength. They entered the command center together, seeing clearly in the darkness with eyes adapted for night conditions. The guards were blind and confused. They fired randomly, hopping to hit something, and moved between them, striking with precision. One by one, the guards fell. The captain was last. He was a large alien, covered in scars from countless battles. He held a ceremonial blade, clearly prepared to fight to the end. "What are you?" he demanded, his voice filled with fear. "Humans," answered simply. The captain charged, his blade swinging in a deadly arc. Easily. The alien was fast by galactic standards, but compared to Earth predators, he was slow. Compared to human reflexes, he was practically standing still. Caught the captain's arm and twisted. The blade fell. Then he pushed the captain to the ground and held him there. "Call off your ships," ordered. "Tell them to stand down." The captain struggled for a moment, then saw the bodies of his crew scattered around the room. He had no choice. He reached for the communication panel and spoke into it. "All ships cease fire, lower weapons, we are captured." On the bright dawn, the crew watched in amazement as the pirate ships stopped their attack. Their weapons powered down. Their engines went quiet. "What happened?" Rolex asked. Stared at the screen. "I think our guests just captured an enemy warship." A few minutes later, his voice came through the communication system. "Commander, the pirate vessel is secure. We are holding the captain and crew as prisoners. Please send a security team when it is safe." Laughed. He could not help it. Two humans had just accomplished what his entire crew could not. They had boarded an enemy ship, defeated its crew, and captured its captain in less than 15 minutes. "Understood, help is on the way." When the security team arrived, they found the pirate ship in chaos. Bodies were everywhere, most alive but injured. The few pirates who remained conscious had surrendered completely. They sat with their hands raised, too terrified to move. The security team leader approached and, "How did you do this?" Was sitting against a wall, treating a wound on his leg. Burn marks covered his arms where energy blasts had hit him, but he was smiling. "We are humans," he said. "This is what we do." The news of the battle spread quickly. By the time the bright dawn resumed its course to Station Prime, every crew member knew what had happened. The humans had saved them all. Again. Dr. Myra treated and injuries in the medical bay. Neither of them had been seriously hurt, despite being shot multiple times. Their bodies were already healing, regenerating tissue at incredible speed. "You should be dead," Dr. Myra said softly. "Both of you. The damage you took would have killed any other species." Shrugged. "We are hard to kill." "I can see that." Dr. Myra paused. I am glad you survived." Commander entered the medical bay. He looked tired but relieved. "I have contacted Station Prime. They are sending escort ships to help us bring in the pirate vessels. The captain you captured is wanted for crimes across 3 sectors. There is a large reward." "Keep it," said. "We do not need money." "Then what do you need?" Looked at, then back at. "We need the council to understand what happened today. We saved your ship and your crew. We captured criminals who have been raiding this region for years. We did this because it was the right thing to do." Nodded slowly. "I will make sure they understand. I will tell them everything." That night, as the ship continued toward its destination, the crew gathered in the common room. It was not planned. People simply gravitated toward the same place, wanting to be together. And sat in the center, surrounded by beings who had feared them just days before. Now, those same beings looked at them with respect and admiration. Pix approached with a drink in his small paws. "I brought you something. It is a traditional celebration drink from my world. I thought you might like it." Took the drink and tasted it. It was sweet and warm. "Thank you, Pix, this is wonderful." The small alien's tail wagged happily. "You saved my life, all our lives. I do not know how to repay that." "You do not need to repay it," said. "Just remember it. Remember that humans are not your enemies. Remember that we can work together." Pix nodded seriously. "I will never forget." As the celebration continued, stepped away from the crowd. She walked to the observation window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, her home, her family. She missed them more than she could express, but she also felt something new: pride, hope. Humanity was about to meet the galaxy. It would not be easy. There would be fear and conflict and misunderstanding, but there would also be chances for friendship, chances for cooperation, chances to show the universe what humans truly were. Not just survivors of not just warriors or predators, but partners, allies, friends. Joined her at the window. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the stars slip by. "Ready for what comes next?" he asked. Smiled always. Station Prime was enormous. It was the largest structure had ever seen, bigger than any city on Earth. The station hung in space like a massive wheel, spinning slowly to create artificial gravity. Lights glittered across its surface, showing the movement of millions of beings from thousands of species. The Bright Dawn docked at a special port reserved for important arrivals. Word of the pirate battle had already reached the station. Representatives from the Galactic Council were waiting, along with reporters and curious onlookers who wanted to see the survivors for themselves. Commander walked beside, and as they left the ship, "Stay calm," he advised. "The Council can seem overwhelming, but they are just politicians. They respond to strength and confidence." Nodded. "We understand. Thank you for everything, Commander." Stopped and turned to face them. His large black eyes were soft with emotion. "No, thank you. You saved my ship, my crew, and my life. Whatever happens next, I will always remember that." They shook hands, a gesture had taught him during the journey, then stepped back, and the humans walked forward to meet their fate. The council chamber was a vast circular room at the center of the station. Seats rose in tiers around a central platform, filled with representatives from every known species. Thousands of eyes watched as and entered and stood on the platform. At the head of the chamber sat the council president, an ancient being called Elder. He was a species that lived for thousands of years. His body was thin and frail, but his mind was sharp. He had led the council for centuries. "You are the humans," Elder said. His voice was quiet but carried through the chamber with perfect clarity. "The survivors from the—" "Yes," answered. "I am, and this is, we are citizens of Earth." "Earth," Elder repeated. "A Class 15 planet, a world of poison, predators, and death, yet you stand before us healthy and strong. How is this possible?" Had prepared for this question. Our species evolved on Earth over millions of years. We adapted to its dangers. The things that would kill others make us stronger. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Representatives whispered to each other, their voices mixing into a constant hum. "We have reviewed the reports from Commander," Elder continued. "Your abilities are remarkable. Fast healing, radiation resistance, extreme strength and endurance. And then there is the matter of the pirate attack." An image appeared on screens around the chamber. It showed the pirate ship, its corridors filled with defeated enemies. Recordings from the Bright Dawn showed and boarding the vessel and fighting their way through. "Two of you defeated an entire crew of armed pirates," Elder said. "You captured a vessel that has terrorized this sector for years. You accomplished in minutes what military fleets have failed to do for decades." Stepped forward. "We did what was necessary to protect ourselves and the crew of the Bright Dawn. We are not killers. We defended innocent lives." "Yet you killed during that defense." "Yes, some pirates died. Others are injured but alive. We used only the force that was needed, no more." Elder studied them for a long moment. Then he leaned forward. "The council is divided on what to do with you. Some believe you are too dangerous to be allowed to return home. They fear what will happen if your species spreads across the galaxy. Others believe you should be welcomed as allies, that your strength could benefit us all." Felt her heart beating faster, but she kept her voice calm. "And what do you believe, Elder?" The ancient being was silent for a moment. "I have lived for 3,000 years. I have seen empires rise and fall. I have watched species destroy themselves through war and greed, and I have learned one truth above all others." He paused, letting the chamber grow completely silent. "Fear is the greatest destroyer. More species have been lost to fear than to any weapon or disease. We fear what we do not understand, and that fear leads us to terrible choices." Elder stood slowly, his thin body trembling with the effort. "Today, we have a choice. We can give in to fear and treat these humans as enemies. We can imprison them, study them, destroy them. Or we can choose a different path. We can reach out in friendship. We can learn from them and share our knowledge with them." He turned to address the full council. "I have read the reports. I have seen what these humans can do. Yes, they are strong. Yes, they are dangerous. But they are also brave and kind. They risked their lives to save aliens they had just met. They asked for nothing in return. Is this the behavior of monsters?" Another representative stood up. He was a large creature with red scales and a mouth full of sharp teeth. "They killed 20 pirates. They nearly destroyed a ship with their bare hands. How can we trust them?" Spoke before anyone else could respond. "May I answer that?" Elder nodded. Turned to face the red-scaled representative. "You are afraid of what we can do. I understand that, but let me tell you what we choose to do." She touched her chest over her heart. "Humans have been fighting each other for all of our history. We have had wars and violence, cruelty and hate, but we have also had something else. Love, compassion, the ability to look at a stranger and see a friend." She gestured toward the screens showing the pirate battle. "Yes, we killed those pirates, but we did not enjoy it. We did it because innocent people were in danger, because lives needed to be saved. On Earth, there is no greater honor than giving your life to protect others." Stepped forward to join her. "We are not asking you to trust us blindly. We know that trust must be earned, but give us a chance. Let us show you who we really are, not through reports and data, but through our actions." The chamber was quiet. Representatives looked at each other, their expressions uncertain. Then a small voice spoke up. It was Pix, the navigation officer from the Bright Dawn. He had been allowed into the chamber as a witness. "May I speak?" Elder looked surprised but nodded. "You may." Pix walked to the center platform, his small body seeming tiny in the vast chamber. "I was there. I saw everything. When the humans first came aboard our ship, I was scared. Everyone was. We had heard about, we knew what they meant." He looked up at Anne, but the humans were nothing like I expected. They were kind. They answered our questions honestly. They shared their stories and listened to ours. When our ship's power core failed, walked into a chamber filled with deadly radiation to save us. He nearly died protecting people who feared him. Pix's small ears stood straight up. And when the pirates attacked, they did not hide. They did not think only of themselves. They fought for us. 2 of them against an entire ship of armed enemies. They won because they were strong, yes, but also because they cared, because saving us mattered to them. He turned to face the council. "I am just a navigation officer. I am not a leader or a politician. But I know what I saw. These humans are not our enemies. They could be our greatest allies. We just have to be brave enough to take that chance." The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then, one by one, representatives began to stand. Some nodded their approval. Others tapped their appendages together in applause. The wave of support grew until most of the council was on their feet. Elder smiled, an expression that transformed his ancient face. "It seems the council has reached a decision." He walked slowly toward and stopping directly in front of them. Despite his frail body, his presence was overwhelming. This was a being who had shaped the galaxy for humans of Earth, he said formally. "The Galactic Council welcomes you as friends. We offer peaceful contact with your species. We wish to learn from you and share our knowledge with you. We hope this will be the beginning of a long and prosperous relationship." Bowed her head in respect. "We accept your friendship with gratitude. On behalf of humanity, I thank you for this chance." Elder placed a thin hand on her shoulder. "No, thank you. You have shown us something important today. You have reminded us that strength and kindness can exist together, that the universe is full of wonders we have yet to understand." He stepped back and raised his voice for the entire chamber to hear. "Let it be recorded in the Galactic Archives. On this day, humanity joined the community of civilized species. May this partnership bring peace and prosperity to all." The chamber erupted in applause. Representatives cheered and called out in their different languages. The sound was overwhelming, a wave of acceptance and hope. Felt tears forming in her eyes. She had not expected this. She had prepared for interrogation, suspicion, even imprisonment. Instead, she had found understanding. Beside her smiled broadly. "We did it." "We did it," agreed. After the ceremony, they were taken to comfortable quarters in the station. For the first time in weeks, they were truly safe. They had soft beds, good food, and the promise of returning home soon. Commander visited them that evening, bringing Dr. Myra and several other crew members from the Bright Dawn. "The Council has arranged for a ship to take you back to Earth," explained. "It will leave in 3 days. We thought you might want some company until then." Hugged the commander, surprising him. His 4 arms awkwardly patted her back. "Thank you for everything." Dr. Myra produced a small device. "I made a copy of all my recordings, the stories you told me, the descriptions of Earth, everything. I thought you might want your families to have it." Took the device carefully. "This means more than you know." The group sat together, talking late into the night. They shared more stories, asked more questions, and laughed together. The fear and tension of the past weeks melted away. At one point, Pix climbed onto a chair beside. "When you return to Earth, will you tell people about us?" "Of course. I will tell everyone about the brave little navigator who spoke up for us when it mattered most." Pix's fur fluffed up with embarrassment. "I just told the truth." Sometimes the truth is the bravest thing anyone can tell. 3 days later, and stood at the airlock of a sleek diplomatic vessel. The entire crew of the Bright Dawn had come to see them off, along with representatives from the Council. "Travel safely," Elder said, "and return soon. There is much we wish to learn about your species." "We will return," promised. "With ambassadors and scientists, artists and explorers. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy." "And the galaxy has much to offer humanity." Elder smiled again. "This is just the beginning." And boarded the ship and took their seats by the window. As the vessel pulled away from Station Prime, they watched the massive station grow smaller and smaller. Beyond it, countless stars waited. Each one might have planets. Each planet might have life. The universe was so much bigger and stranger than anyone on Earth had imagined. But they were no longer alone in it. Reached out and took's hand. "Home." "Home," he agreed. The ship turned toward Earth, toward the blue marble that had given them life. They were bringing something precious back with them. Not just knowledge of alien life, but proof that humanity could find its place among the stars. They had been tested and found worthy. They had faced fear and chosen friendship. They had shown the galaxy that the children of a were more than survivors. They were ambassadors, pioneers, the first of billions. And their story was only beginning. The stars rushed past as the ship jumped to faster-than-light speed. In days, they would be home. They would see their families again, breathe their planet's air, feel its sun on their faces. And then, they would begin the greatest adventure in human history. First contact was complete. The future was waiting. Humanity was finally ready to meet it.